Here's our challenge. We have to figure out what's really important. And in the last episode, we were talking about the difference of importance between a teenager who's been told her outfit is not appropriate and the adult who is also a parent who has made that determination. And when we left it, we were thinking, well, it's the opinion of other people that are driving the behavior. With me is Jesse Knowles, and he is our other parent, so to speak, because I got kids too. And we're with Shannon, formerly known as Julia, but now she's Shannon. And when we left it, I kind of thought that both the motivation for the teenager and the parent was based on the opinions of other people. So I'm going to go to you first, Shannon.
Okay.
Okay, so you're concerned because you said inappropriate, you're concerned about what people will think, you're concerned about your reputation, but there is something to be said for an independence, you know, a feeling of I'm not going to be driven by the opinions of other people because I know what's right and wrong. Mm-hmm. I'm just kind of throwing those out there.
Yes.
How do you respond to that?
I think, personally, I try to not pay attention to what other people are thinking about me.
Really?
I know it's really hard to do, but I try to be my own person, and I believe that I'm a decent person, and I trust in my parents and in my friends and in my family that they will tell me if I'm right or wrong in certain situations. I think that sometimes people are insignificant and that we think too much about what they think, if that makes any sense.
Insignificant is a very powerful word. So I'm not going to let you walk back on that.
Okay.
But what I'm curious about is you don't want to be moved by other people, but yet there are certain people that will influence you and that you take you give them more credibility. Mm-hmm. Am I fair in that assessment?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not saying that I don't care about what people think about me doesn't mean that I don't care about the people themselves. So if they tell me something that I don't agree with, I'm not going to be rude to them or fight with them on that. I'm going to try and be as polite as possible.
Okay.
Just show.
Now again, with that as kind of like the groundwork, with this scenario and your outfit, whether it's appropriate or not appropriate, now that we understand kind of what your criteria is and how you process things, in this particular scenario, what's really important? Is it still your reputation?
In the scenario of my mom telling me I'm not supposed to wear that.
You can't go outside in that thing.
I think what's most important is what my mom thinks.
So the relationship with your mother now becomes the most important thing.
Yeah.
Dad?
I love what both of you are saying. It's a lot of good stuff. I think we're not influenced by our peer group. We're our own self is an idea that we all adhere to. But the flip side of that is we are incredibly social animals.
Yes.
We are so social, we connect with each other. It's a biological condition. We are the most cooperative species on this earth. And so to make these declarations like, I'm my own self, I don't care what others think. When we are so biologically social, we're so nurture and nature both conspire for us.
We're wired
social,
that way. We're hardwired that way.
So to say that we're independent of that is not necessarily the truth. But I liked how you specified. It's when they have a poor opinion where I'm able to filter and go, no, I can be unaffected by that. When a peer group or a teacher or a parent reinforces that which you believe, then everything's fine. So there's not this assessment that you go through, but it's when there's disagreement where you kind of go, well, wait a minute, who's right here? And so that's essentially, I think, what we're addressing on a bigger picture.
Wait, let me stop you right there, because what you just said is really important.
The father part, right?
Yeah, what you said is really important. It's almost like what we have heard over and over again in the scientific process. There are so many experiments that are biased because the scientist is trying to prove what they already believe as opposed to setting up a situation and then just observing, right? And so in this particular case, what you just said is that when the child is reinforced by the adult figure, the authority figure, it's kind of like a neat feeling like, I am right? Because that person who's authority said I am right. Okay, but I still want to get down to the core of it, right? Is what's really important. And so what we're trying to figure out is your social standing the most important thing, or is it how you feel about yourself at that moment, or is it the relationship you have with the authority figure? It's three separate things. Your peer group, how you feel about yourself, and the authority figure. And in this particular case, what's the most important thing?
I think it's what you think about yourself and your authority figure.
I kind of gave you a softball there. You hit it out of the park. That's good. But what do you think about that?
Well, you said or, and I wish you would have said and or, because so much of our life is not a binary. It's not a this or this. It's gradations of.
That's true.
So when she wears an outfit that she thinks her friends are going to think super cute,
yeah,
she's
right.
looking for
and
that
sexy,
acceptance.
right?
So that she's looking.
Sure.
Well, we tend to not use that word as the father of a daughter.
Well, no, I'm thinking in terms of criteria for friends in a peer group.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we have this. So she's wanting acceptance in a particular peer group, and so that's the driving force. And then when she doesn't get acceptance from the parent or the authority figure group, so those all kind of weigh into the conversation. And then she has the self, like, I want to wear this. This is what I want to look like today. So they all, I don't think, can be isolated, and it's so hard to do that. And that's essentially what makes social interaction so dynamic and so amazing, so wonderful. So. Essentially, this is the issue. This is like, how do you manage all those things simultaneously?
We have 30 seconds left in this episode. There'll be no commercials today, Mr. Director. But I think where I want to leave the conversation is what's interesting is that did you put on the outfit because you knew it would be cute to everybody else, or your peer group would be accepting of it and maybe even give you a warm fuzzy of they like it, which then would make you feel more liked based on what your appearance is? Or did you wear it because it's a statement of who you think you are? All right.
Okay.
We're going to think about that, and that's what we're going to do in episode number 3 of this conversation of what's important. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time on Conversations.